Hey everyone, it's Terry Vanover and I'm a divorce strategist. I help you come through divorce without being legally, financially, and emotionally devastated. But even more importantly, I help you to heal from your divorce so that you can transition confidently into that next phase of your life. So today we're going to be talking about the most impactful healing strategy, but it's also the most resisted. It's the one that my clients hate the most, everyone I talk to does the least, but yet it is the healing strategy that will take you further fastest. And it's just one of those things that 99.9% of people resist the most. And we make it way too complicated. We make it way too overanalyze, and we resist it. And the reason we resist this is because it's about getting still with yourself. And so one of the things I do is invite people to look deeply within themselves. So I invite people to meditate. And if you don't want to call it meditation, that's fine. You don't have to call it meditation. If you want to call it just sitting in a dark room and relaxing, you could call it that, right? So it's really about getting in touch with yourself. It's really about being still with yourself. It's about allowing the thoughts to come and go. Really, you're not analyzing those thoughts. You're not judging those thoughts. You're just getting still with yourself and you're just letting that go. The problem is so many people are addicted to their own chaos in their heads, right? And unless you figure out what it is that got you in a toxic relationship, that got you divorced, you're going to repeat the pattern, because once you've had one divorce, the chance of you having another divorce is 70%. So you have to take accountability for yourself and really understand what got you into this relationship and heal those parts of you that was needy or insecure or that sabotaged your relationship. It is really, really important that you do the work that you need to so that you don't end up repeating the same mistakes, and so your kids don't end up repeating the same mistakes. So I invite the people that I work with, and I invite everyone, because I meditate every day. And I've actually stepped up my game this week because I was going to be offering a challenge to everyone in my groups this week. And so I had actually been kind of slacking on my meditative practice. It's been getting shorter, 10 minutes or so. And I knew I was going to be offering this challenge. So I went back to longer meditations, and it really is amazing what comes up for you when you just get still and you just go inside yourself. You know, I talked last week about an issue that I was having last year, and something that had happened to me, and then I was carrying around a lot of anger from that incident. And what I went to that space of just getting beneath that, and you can call it getting expansive if you'd like, but I just found myself going really, really deep and going beyond the anger, beyond the hurt. And what I recognized is when I got really, really still and really, really deep with myself, there was a sense of powerlessness. And because I got in touch with that, I was able to let that go, and I was able to figure out what I needed to heal from being powerless. So I want to challenge you just to meditate, right? Or if you don't want to call it meditate, just get still with yourself and just sit in a dark, quiet room with only your thoughts. And if that scares you, you really need to do it. And I invite you to do this for, say, an hour. Yeah, it sounds like a long time. So just do it for an hour and see what comes up for you, because I guarantee you some stuff is going to come up. We are so addicted to our phones. Today it's our phones, but like, oh, I'm binge watching Netflix, I'm doing this, that. If you can do all that, you can spend an hour getting still with yourself. Here's the thing. People resist this. People hate this, right? Especially if you struggle with wanting to control everything. I've got those clients that say, I can't do that. My head starts racing and I start thinking about stuff and I'm like, yeah, then do it. Then you need to do it. You need to do this because you need to get still with yourself, because all that stuff, control, is you trying to heal internally with external things. And you can never heal yourself externally if something that needs to be healed internally. So this is why it's really important to get still with yourself. I was just talking with someone earlier today, and she was being triggered by money. And the thing was, she was trying to heal this internal issue that she was having, because the truth is, it really wasn't about money. It was about instability. And it all went back to her childhood and feeling insecure, and not about money. It had nothing to do about money. It had to do with feeling insecure in her own childhood and feeling that she couldn't have the support and things that she needed as a child. It all goes back to that. So if you get still with yourself and you understand what it is that you need, you can get to that place of acceptance and embrace what it is that you need. And here's the thing, if you say to yourself, I cannot do that, I cannot sit in a room for an hour and just sit there and think, my thoughts will be barraging me. And that is what happens. That is totally what happens. And if you're finding that, then you need to figure out, you need this more than anybody, because you need to get still with yourself. Because when you first start getting still with yourself, what happens is all the crap comes up. All the crud comes up that you've been holding in. And what happens is, so often all that crap starts coming up, and then people go, whoa, I don't want to deal with this. And then they start getting distracted and they pick up their phone, and I'm guilty of it. And so they start, just distracting themselves, because no one wants to deal with that pain. And people tell me, like, oh my God, if I do this, the pain will come up. Yeah, you want to let that come up and accept it, so that then you can release it. Because the more you resist, the more it's going to strangle you, and the more you're going to, it's going to surround you. So I invite you just to take some time, sit back and observe the thoughts. Don't judge the thoughts, just observe. And the thing is, like, at first it'll be a shit show, and you will just be like, what the hell is going on here? Like, why am I thinking? For me, a couple of things that come up. To-do lists. My mind just never seems to stop, right? And what was interesting was yesterday when I was doing it, because I knew I was doing this challenge, so I was like, oh, I got to get back to my longer meditations. And, of course, what comes up for me are my to-do lists. And what was interesting was the crap that came up for me was my accent. And I thought that I had let all that go. I thought I was beyond my insecurities with my southern drawl, didn't care anymore. And I was like, apparently that's down in there, and apparently I need to reflect. And again, I don't judge that. I just allow what comes up to come up. And you never know what is going to come up. And the great thing is, though, and I know I'm laughing and that was a silly thing that came up, but sometimes very painful stuff comes up. I know oftentimes, especially like when I'm doing yoga, which again, that's an hour, and I'm very in touch with my body and my breathing, and there's only myself and my thoughts. I often, sometimes some of the grief from my mother's passing will come up. And I allow that. I don't judge it. I don't say, oh my God, I'm sitting in yoga class crying. That's okay. I'll cry. I don't have any, sometimes it'll do. So think of this practice just like any practice, right? So it's going to be difficult at first. It really is, because all the thoughts are going to come in, and you're like going to be like, what am I supposed to be thinking? And you're going to be judging those thoughts, and you're going to be like, it's not working. I'm just sitting here thinking, I want to get up. And you'll resist and just sit there and just be okay with that. And the thing is, the more you do that, the more healing you will get. The more in touch with yourself you'll get. The more stuff, all that shit that you've been suppressing for years, more of it will come up and you'll release and you'll let it go. You won't judge it and you will let it go. And it's just like going to the gym. At first it'll be hard, right? You start out and it's like so difficult. Your muscles are so weak, and it's the same thing with your mind. Your mind has been trained to live in chaos, right? We are living in chaos, and especially today in today's world with phones and the internet at our fingertips and games and playing games on your phone and Facebook. It is almost impossible to be disconnected and really, really connected with yourself. But I guarantee you, if you connect with yourself, the long-term benefits are life-changing. I can tell you that it has made me a better mother. It has made me a better wife. I'm more present. I'm less reactive because I'm able to just allow. I'm just allowing and not judging. I'm no longer just reacting, or I'm not even reacting from that space of pain or unhealedness within me. I will be, when I do, I don't call it react anymore. I call it, contribute. When I am contributing, I'm contributing from a place of love and from that healed space, and not from that place of reaction and brokenness and a trigger, for example. So that is what I'm inviting you today. So I want to actually set up a challenge. I've never done this before, so this is my first time doing this, but this is so important that if you do this, I am going to send you a present. I will send you a gift in the mail. I really mean that. So if you take on my challenge and you spend a week and you just sit with yourself, and again, I'm not asking you to do anything that I don't do myself, or asking you to do anything other than just sit with yourself in a dark, quiet place and just sit with those thoughts and allow those thoughts. Don't judge those thoughts. Allow what comes in. I'm going to send you a gift, I promise. All you have to do is, email me at terryvanover@comcast.net and tell me what you did and what awareness you came away with. Because the great thing is, I want you to start doing this as a practice, a long-term practice that you can start implementing into your life. And here's the great thing, just like exercise and eating a good, healthy diet, you'll begin to crave this. You'll begin to crave your alone time, your quiet time. And it does not have to be perfect, y'all. It does not have to be perfect. I'm telling you, I'm a mom, and today I did not set my alarm early enough, and my son comes in and is telling me about his poo, and I'm like, all right, it's okay. Again, I just don't judge it. I just let it be. And it is what it is, and I just get back to myself. And the thing is, I know that. And again, I think it's from my meditative practice. I did not get upset. I did not judge. I just allowed what is. It makes me a better mother, and it just makes me a better person. And when you have allowed some of this toxicity and these feelings and stuff to come up, and you've allowed them to go, you will become a better person. And I promise you, because it happened to me when I put this into practice. At the time, I was not working for myself. I was working for someone else. And the people around me were telling me, oh my God, you're different. You're different. And they would ask, and I was like, I just thought I was the same person. But because I was more present, I was a better listener, I was more authentic, they noticed it. I was less reactive. Shit didn't bother me. I just things just don't bother me as much. I got my little things, right, that I'm still continuing to work on. But the truth is, people will start to notice that you're showing up differently. And when you show up differently, your relationships around you will be different. So I promise you, if you put this into practice, it will be life-changing. And I mean this from experience. So, again, so I invite you to do this challenge with me, okay? And let me know what your awareness is, what your takeaways are. Even if your takeaway is just damn, I just sat in a quiet room for an hour. I didn't get anything out of it. I would still send you a gift. So tell me what you did and when you did it, and tell me what your awareness is and how you felt about it. And I'd love to gift you something for doing it. Okay? So I look forward to seeing you this weekend. This weekend we are having a how to heal from a toxic relationship. I'm giving you more strategies. This is one of them. This is just one strategy for healing from a broken relationship. So, or toxic relationship, I should say, or a broken marriage. So come and join me